everybody. I am so excited for our second workshop. We are here to talk about when is the right time to pursue a graduate degree. I mean, you are all professionals in your careers. You are all potentially thinking about it or are already in a graduate degree, or maybe you're considering pursuing an additional graduate degree if you've already got one. This is an extremely pertinent and relevant topic for anybody who's thought about more education. This workshop is for you. I'm really excited for you to experience our guest speaker this evening. It's going to be really insightful, very data-driven. It's going to have a lot of facts and figures that will hopefully help you make the most educated decision about what makes the most sense for you. By the way, my name is Garrett Mintz. I'm the founder of Ambition in Motion. And really, you've already started meeting with your mentor. That is awesome. Hopefully, you've already set up your first meeting. Maybe you've even already set up your second meeting. If that's the case, that's amazing news. But the focus for this workshop is how can you be intentional about really taking steps forward for yourself professionally. Now, I know that these workshops are on a wide array of topics. Obviously, our first workshop was on how to transition into a managerial role. This workshop's about determining whether or not it's worth it to pursue a graduate degree. But I really want to challenge you that when you're in your mentor meetings, that you are customizing it to your experience for what you want to accomplish with your own career. Because I recognize that some of these workshops are more relevant to you than others, and that's, by the way, completely okay. We bring in really amazing world-class guest speakers to come in and be our guests for these workshops, and that's fantastic. And the ideal goal is that all of them are relevant to you, but I recognize that it varies. And some workshops are going to be more relevant to some people than other people. But what I want you to recognize is that even in this workshop, even if you feel like it's not the most relevant to you, that there's a lot of nuggets. There's a lot of topics that we talk about with our guest speaker that I believe can apply to a lot of situations that you may face in your life. So I'm really excited to get started. Now, one thing that I really want to focus in on, and this is something we talked about last time in our workshop, and that is understanding your strategy, your story, and your state. Those are the three keys to being successful in this program. The most important one, that being state. So physically, where are you? What is going on in your world? Are you having a bad day? Are you having a stressful day? Are you having a difficult time with your significant other? Did your dog just die? I don't care what is going on with your world, no matter how stressful, no matter how mad, no matter how angry, no matter how bad, anything is going on in your world, you can change your state in a matter of seconds because your emotions drive your emotions. So what I want you to do right now to get yourself ready for this workshop is I want you to stand up and I want you to shake it out. I want you to shimmy it loose. I want you to scream at the top of your lungs. Just go, yeah! Just let it loose, let it out, let it go. Because what you're doing is you're letting blood flow to your brain. You're releasing endorphins in your brain. You're getting yourself into a state conducive for receiving information. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, when you sit down for too long, you have diminishing returns on your mental investment. Your likelihood of retaining that information is significantly minimized. So I want to challenge you to get up, shake it out, let it loose, get your blood flowing, because when your blood's flowing to your brain, your likelihood of actually remembering this information is significantly higher. Now, when you're going into your mentor relationship, when you're meeting with your mentor, if you can get your blood flowing before those mentor meetings, you're much more likely to retain the information your mentor has to say for you and to you. But if you don't get yourself into a state ready for this mentor relationship, your likelihood of making the most out of that experience diminishes. So I want you to get yourself into a state. Now, the next key is your story. What is the story you tell yourself? Why will you be successful? I'd love to know it. In fact, actually, if you could, post in the comment section, why are you going to be successful? I mean, if in your mind you think, hey, I'm cool with mediocre, I'm cool with just settling, this program is not for you. I can tell you that right now. If you're thinking to yourself, hey, I want to settle, I just want to kind of like not really aspire for too much, you wouldn't be in this mentor program. So what I'm here to tell you is shoot for the stars, have big, crazy, hairy, audacious goals. And by the way, don't let anybody else judge you for your goal, because your goals are your own. So what is audacious to you may not be audacious to somebody else, and what is audacious to somebody else may not be audacious to you, but that is okay. It's not for you to judge, it is for you to make strides for yourself, because at the end of the day, this program is about personal growth and confidence, helping you put yourself into the best position for you to succeed. So if you can tell yourself a story for why you will be marginally to exemplary, significantly better than where you're at the beginning of this program, that is awesome, and that is where I want you to go. That's where I want you to be. Now, the last part is your strategy. What is the strategy that you're going to do to start putting yourself in the best position to succeed? Now, this program, this workshop specifically, is about when is the right time to pursue a graduate degree. Now, one thing that I strongly encourage you to do, because here's the thing, at the end of the day, your strategies are all about routines. We think about routines both in the bad sense as well as the good sense. Bad routines are, things that we consider habits, bad habits, they're bad. But we typically have a negative connotation around habits just because of so many bad habits we've heard about. But there's a lot of things and a lot of beneficial things with good habits. So what are things that you can do on a daily, regular basis that helps you prepare for anything that you want to be better at? That is what I want to focus on. So one strategy that you can implement is implementing a SWOT analysis on a monthly basis of your life, of your career, of your higher education experience, of anything. Doing a SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. So if you're currently right now in a job and you're thinking to yourself, I'm contemplating a graduate degree, but I don't really know right now, what you'll want to think about is, what are the strengths of pursuing a graduate degree? What are the weaknesses of pursuing a graduate degree? What are the opportunities of staying in your current role? And what are the threats to leaving your current role for this graduate degree? If you can lay this out for yourself, it will help you on a substantial level towards making the most educated decision for yourself for why you should or should not pursue a graduate degree. Now, our guest speaker this evening is going to talk about the literal specific facts and figures of financially, when does it make sense for you to get a graduate degree, and when does it not make sense for you to get a graduate degree? And so I think you're going to really enjoy what our guest speaker has to say about this, because the insight is unbelievable. I think you're going to really enjoy it. But in terms of the strategies, I want you to do a SWOT analysis to help you prepare for that. The other thing is, I want you to start having more informational interviews beyond just your mentor. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what stage of life you are in. You can have conversations with people. Just because you're not a quote unquote current college student in a collegiate sense, you're still a student of life. You're still a student of professional outcomes. And by being willing to admit that you're still a student, you can take the knowledge of somebody else. You can say, hey, I'm a student. I'm interested in learning more about XYZ field. Would you be willing to have a coffee with me or a conversation with me? That is a great conversation starter for you to learn more about other fields. Because at the end of the day, it's not about stagnating. It is about growing. It is about learning. It is about being uncomfortable and being comfortable with being uncomfortable. So those are the key points I really want you to take away from our workshop this evening. I'm so excited to jump into our guest speaker. By the way, if you've not connected with me on LinkedIn yet, please do so. We have a LinkedIn community, a Ambition in Motion group where all of us participate in it. We can post our questions. Our entire community can answer them or see them or relate to them. It's a really cool place to be. If you don't have a LinkedIn, absolutely get a LinkedIn. If you do have a LinkedIn, you have not connected with me, I strongly encourage it. I'm so excited to get started, and I'm so excited for you to experience our guest speaker this evening. Thanks for your time. I'm looking forward to get this guest interview going.
Hey everybody, I'm so excited to dive into another workshop. We're here to talk about how to know when is the right time to pursue additional education. So for a lot of you, maybe you're a current college student or you're a recent college graduate and you're trying to decipher, like, okay, am I in the right career path? Do I need to get additional education? Will additional education help me make more money? What will additional education do for me as I pursue the career path of my desires? Fortunately, we've got a great leader here with us today. We got Myriam Muzquiz here to talk about her experiences just deciphering when is the right time to pursue additional education, what additional education she's got, how that's played into her career path, and ultimately what doors that's opened for her, as well as what misconceptions she's had about getting additional education. Myriam, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, Garrett. I am so excited to be here today.
Yeah, absolutely. So Myriam, if you could maybe just tell us a little bit, what was your career trajectory like? Why did you determine it was important to pursue additional education?
That's an excellent question. So my career trajectory has been a journey of leveraging technology and data to drive business growth and operational efficiency. So I began my career in business development and in sales, where I quickly learned a lot about different types of businesses because I was in ERP sales for a software company. So you have to learn about a lot of different businesses. Then I grew into a business development manager role and into channel development management as well. Right now, I work in operations program management, and it's been a journey for sure. But I leverage my data insights and a lot of different career advice that I have taken over the past years. So yeah, that has been my career trajectory so far. And I'm excited that I am in this new space with a master's degree in my MBA in data analytics from the University of Incarnate Word.
So why did you do that? So, I mean, you've got your degree, you've got your bachelor's degree, you've started working, and it seems like things were going pretty well professionally. What made you decide to want to pursue an MBA? Why pursue that?
So my bachelor's is in business administration from the same university. I decided to pursue my MBA with my specialization in data analytics from the same alma mater because I recognized that to continue advancing in my career, I had to make a significant impact in leveraging data as much as I could. So I definitely took advantage of, during my master's program, initiating projects that we had to look into as far as project management, cost efficiency, operational efficiency, implementing new technologies, long-term business growth, go-to-marketing strategies, global strategies. And I felt like I needed to concentrate and establish more like a long-term vision for what I want to accomplish as far as my career goals as well, and how this program has been such a great program for me. So
yeah,
especially around problem solving and staying more proactive, because I run into analysis paralysis a lot, and I can become a person that I won't make a decision because I'm lost in thought. So I have to just kind of get deep into the data so I can just move forward and make a decision. So this was just a great career path for me. And I wanted to pursue this instead of just kind of staying in the weeds of just business management and being more of an individual contributor. Here you can really talk to business about business growth with hard numbers to back it up as well, right? So,
I'd be curious, and I think and I don't always mean to go straight to the finances, but I do think financial is a big consideration when it comes to getting an additional degree. And I think, for a lot of students, it's easy to say oh, I've already got a mountain of debt for my bachelor's degree. Let's just add to that mountain, get some more education. How is there a model for determining when it is worth it to get an MBA? And I ask that from the perspective of cool, it's going to cost me this much money to get my MBA, but because I've got my MBA, I will anticipate earning this much more along the lines of my career over the next 3 to 5 years, which will make it that much easier to pay off. Is that did that run through your mind when deciding to go get your MBA? And if so, has that transpired in the way that you thought it would?
it definitely has. So investing in an MBA has its opportunity cost, right? For me, the cost was around $40,000, right? And then it was out of pocket except for a small chunk of change at the end. And I managed to tap into my investment account, my retirement investment account for that. And I decided to pursue it that way because some people might think that that's a high risk, pursuit, because you are investing a lot of money in a short period of time. My degree program was meant to be a year or 2 at the most, maybe 3. So, but I wanted to finish right away because I knew I had the funds to do it. And that's why, and I needed to do it right now because the job market is changing so much. I needed to update myself, my curriculum, my skill set. I've learned so much about Python, extrapolating data, teeing it up so the visuals are perfect around some different business metrics. So I saw the benefit in pursuing an additional education because I saw the gap in my skill set. And when you have those kinds of gaps, because you have them, right? If you have feedback sessions with your managers, or if you are just, considering new industries or just new skill set overall, then your gaps, and finding a degree program that works for you within the given constraints of time and money is a decision that you have to make. Now, I think it really depends, where somebody is at. In my case, I just felt that as an operations manager, as a technology software adoption expert, and just commanding business objectives throughout the company, I needed that. I want to say I needed that, I guess that title, right? That MBA title. For me, it's all, sometimes it is about the title as well. Has it done anything for me as far as an increase in pay? Right now, it hasn't. Right. But I do have some other opportunities in mind with some operational quant systems that I am developing based on critical decision making criteria matrices that I have done research on, that I have that I'm in the works of just working into a final product. And this MBA has also helped me quantify that as well. So I just have a lot on my mind. But yes, if you are thinking of pursuing an MBA, I wish there was just like a, simple answer, but it just really depends where you're at within the constraints of time and money and what you want to do with that degree, right?
I love that answer more than you realize. I think that's such a great answer because it goes to show the authenticity of the answer, which it is a hard decision. So I guess let me take a moment to ask the students a question. Post in the comment section, what is the skill that you would like to touch up the most? Post in the comment section, because to Myriam's point, everybody's got a skill or an ability that they need to touch up on. If you think you've got no skills or abilities that you need to touch up on, like, come on, let's be real with ourselves. Everybody's got a skill or an ability that they want to touch up on. Post what you think yours is in the comment section. I love to learn. So Myriam, what I loved most about your answer was just the rawness and the realness of it. Because like sometimes I'll interview people when we do this conversation. They'll be like, oh, everyone should go get their MBA. Everyone should go get a PhD or a master's or a this or a that. And I don't necessarily know if I agree with it. I think it all depends on whatever scenario and circumstance you're in, because it's a lot of money. Like 40 grand is not a small chunk of change. And by the way, kudos for you for having a plan to pay it off. I think that's probably really wise. I have friends who got MBAs from like Harvard, and that they will be paying that off for the rest of their life. And it's like, man, when is the juice worth that squeeze? And I think you were really wise about that. I also love that you took what you learned in your MBA program and helped build, your entrepreneurial avenue of just building out your business of decision trees and just helping people make better decisions based on data, because it really sounds like, yes, you got the title, and sure, you like having the title on your LinkedIn profile and all that sort of fun stuff. But it also, most importantly and most notably, sounds like you actually like took the information and are truly applying it in your life and in your career, because that's like the most important part. I see a lot of times people get a degree and be like, I don't remember what I studied at all. And I think like, what a shame. What a shame. Because like you paid a lot of money for that degree. If you don't remember what you studied in school, like what a shame. And so the fact that you're so adamant about like studying that thing and that you're practicing curiosity and that's sticking with you, I think is so critical. So I think for any student or recent professional, like thinking about, gosh, what did I do in my degree path, or think about doing for my, additional degrees? Like, what am I looking for? I think it's so big. So, for where you're going and what you're trying to achieve professionally, I know you're in operations now. What do you see as your next steps, and how does your MBA play a role in it? And do you envision yourself getting additional education? If so, what is the decision tree around that?
That's such an excellent question, because I want to get my doctorate. I feel motivated, and I haven't seen the statistics. Maybe we could ask Gemini. Gemini is my best friend. But, I think that once after you graduate from a degree program, it's recommended that you just enroll right into your next level program immediately right after. Right now, I've been out of school since May. And I am eagerly waiting to see, I'm honestly, the job market is kind of very interesting right now, Garrett. I mean, AI, I have seen projects that have, AI has been such a game changer in how we engage with the tool, what we need to accomplish as human beings, and then how it's morphing the business operation, right? So right now, I am really just wanting to do more research into my field, into my data world, the actual performance metrics that are the most common performance metrics that any business needs to focus on as well, and see where I can also play into my entrepreneurship in this market, because I think the timing is right, in the sense that there's a lot of growth opportunities right now for people that want to enhance their skill set. They get creative like I did, and they want to build a product, right? And that's where I'm at. And if you can kind of take that research, and I have a lot of books here. And just this week, I emailed two people great colleagues and team members that I work with, 5 pictures of graphs and data visualization tools from a book that I checked out at the Austin Library here downtown. And I was like, I want these data visualization tools for what we need to do. And we met this week, and we're gonna build our data skeleton, and we're gonna have these beautiful reports with these data visualization tools. And I enjoy doing stuff like that and doing that kind of research. So that's where I'm at. And I think it's just really shaping my leadership skills, right? Strategic leadership skills. It's creating innovation and data-driven decision-making. And I also feel like I'm a source of trust, when it comes to data and the visualization and where the company is headed. What do you think? Like, I like it when people come to me and, what do you think we should do? Where do you see a problem? If you can pinpoint the issue, where is it, right? I love being able to talk about that. And I don't always run with the final decision that needs to be made, right? But I contribute where I can with the facts. So.
Yeah, what you're really highlighting is the importance of forward thinking during a fast moving time period, because I think that's probably, like, if you're a current college student, or especially if you're like a graduate and you're in your professional career right now, I would say one of the most critical elements to like how to like tackle what's going on right now is to be quick, is to be like very focused, very intentional, very much like make moves towards whatever direction you want to go, because ultimately the world is moving really fast. And what looked like safe jobs are now getting outsourced to different countries or automated with technology, whether it be AI or some other technology, doesn't really matter. What's really critical is that you don't stick with the status quo, and whether or not you get extra education. This could also mean you go to a place like Udemy, or you go to a place like Khan Academy, or you go to a place where you can learn new insights about new things that can help you prepare for the future. Because I do believe we are rapidly approaching a future where there will be a big separation between those who are studying the future, studying technologies, staying ahead of the curve, and those who will be, left behind. And I would encourage everybody to, whatever you're curious about, whatever you're interested in, dive into it. Like, don't let kind of the world come to you and go through the phases and just like, see whatever life has to offer you, because you are not in control anymore. Someone else is in control, and you are just following whatever reins they have. So I'm always an advocate for entrepreneurship, but that doesn't necessarily have to be entrepreneurship. It could even be intrapreneurship. It could be you're within an organization, you see some operational inefficiencies or just inefficiencies in general, and you decide, what? Would y'all be okay with me trying to experiment and figure out a better solution to the way that we're doing this? And, a lot of organizations have what they call tiger teams, where they go out and, they've got people whose sole job is to try new innovative things to make the business better. Now, granted, there's always inherent resistance because people hate change, but ultimately, if you're practicing a constant learning mentality and methodology, you are going to position yourself to be vital to your organization, or any organization for that matter, moving forward. But if you're in this like, oh, woe is me. Like, oh, I sat back and I did my job, but I never like networked, or I never reached out about any new opportunities within the business. I just kind of like let whatever opportunity come my way, and I collected my 5% bonus every year. And oh my gosh, my company had a layoff and I got wrapped up in the layoff. Like, this is the warning sign. This is the big red flashing sign that I'm here to tell you. Like, if you do that, you could put yourself in a position to be expendable moving forward. Whereas if you invest in yourself, your education, the new skills, the new things that are going on, even if you do get rolled up in a layoff, because you can't control whether or not a layoff happens, if you develop those skills, you can take those skill sets and experiences and apply that to a different role at a different organization who probably would love to have those skills and experiences. I don't know. This is my own little soapbox, Myriam, but I don't know. What do you think about that?
You touched on a great point, Garrett. Starting with like Udemy, Coursera, maybe some free education, or like just something that's not as expensive. If you want to learn, for example, about project management, and you are maybe in marketing, right? Or maybe you are in a call center right now, or maybe you are in human resources, or whatever it may be, you can get some free education just learning about a different side of the business without having to pursue the MBA, right? The master's in business administration. There are a lot of entities like the Project Management Institute, the Corporate Finance Institute, Coursera's, and local certifications through universities, 6, 7, 8 month programs that'll give you insights into AI, data, Python, SQL, a lot of different technologies that are being used across the market. And you don't have to just pursue a full-on $40,000 degree, right? It just depends where you're at, given the constraints of time and an opportunity. So yes, I think that you touch on some great points as far as pursuing, being curious. I think it's very important, especially if you're younger, that, or at any age, right? Stay curious, but I think that you also have to stay innovative at work. And I've noticed that, especially with contract work or consulting work that I have to do, you can't stay idle. And I think that we've seen that before, and I see that with people. What can I do next? What can I do? You have to inject yourself in the operation and add value where you can across the business in whatever you do, right? And you touched on something very important. I think when I started in some of my most important roles, for me, it's like, okay, I'm 3 weeks into this role. What have I done? Did I accomplish a change? Am I building relationships? Can they trust me? And I, based on what I like to do, which is software technology adoption, am I driving people, which is essentially, I tell people, I tell folks where to click, what to click on, when to click on it properly, so that things process across the business operation, right? And that has been my go-to experience since 2009 or 10 within sales or field operations and whatnot. So staying curious, innovative, and just having that go-getter spirit is really needed.
So I guess I'd be curious. Let me ask the students a question real quick. Post in the comments section. If you currently are in a role, where do you want to innovate within your business? Or where do you think your business needs to innovate? And if you're not in a role, for what you think your future business will be, where do you think you want to innovate? Post in the comments section. I'd love to learn more about just this concept of intrapreneurship, this idea of being inside of an organization while still being innovative. What impact and what difference do you want to make, and like, where do you want to be? I think if we don't set that intention now, early on in our careers or before we get into our careers, it's so easy just to fall into the trap of like, I go to my job, I get my annual bonus, like I did my thing, like, oh, I follow a normal structure, and like, I get this promotion on this date. And it's like I think we are seeing such a major shift right now in the workplace that like those sorts of like pre-regimented career paths are really falling by the wayside. And those people who are like stepping up, who, you know, some may call like the eager beavers or whatever, like at the end of the day, those are the people who are fast, very rapidly moving up the chain, keeping their jobs and like making an impact. And for those who do get laid off, like they're developing skills that are totally practical to whatever next business they have. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've worked with a lot of different businesses, and there are some roles where I'm like, really, your full-time job is pushing the green send button on the fax machine. That's it. That's all you do.
This process.
Yeah. I think to myself, like, or your full-time job is like manually checking written out accounting forms to see if like this was sent to this person. I think to myself, God, you like, do you not, you like, you must see that your days are numbered. Like you've got to think to yourself, I should want to invest in some technology or some this or that or whatever to make this role more efficient, because like the day the business ends up deciding to invest in that technology that out replaces 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 people's jobs, and then you're like, oh, let me apply for a new job, and they're like, all the jobs expect that you have experience with some software or technology, and you're like, what about the handwriting or the pen and paper?
Exactly.
And it's like, nope, they're not doing that anymore. So now you have to, you're back into square one. So if you're in a position where you're like, I think my role might be a little bit outdated, you know, think about how you can be more proactive and innovative within the job itself.
And I want to touch on something what we just said. And so it really depends on the systems and tools you're using at work. If you find yourself just using one system or you're just doing that one single process, how else can you maybe with lateral departments and other teams, find ways to have your workflow, add value to theirs as well, right? So I think that that's also very important, because you want to also use other systems and tools from different departments, because I do foresee the need for cross-functional training within teams right now, because especially if you are in project management, where all of a sudden, hey, that team that you have for us doing that project management piece, AI is going to take over. So what are they going to do? Well, let's figure something out, right? So what are the first things that people are going to look for? Their skill set, what systems and tools they have experience in, what is their overall business logic, and what we do and whatnot. So definitely gaining more skills around other systems and tools within your job and your function is definitely helpful as well.
Come back to this concept of choosing a degree path. I find it fascinating that you went and got your MBA from the same place that you got your bachelor's degree. Why? Why not spread your wings to a different school?
I had thought about it. I had thought about a program through Johns Hopkins, organizational management, and I think it was a Master of Science in Organizational Management, NYU's Master of Science in maybe Political Science. I just had different degree programs in mind, but I went with Incarnate Word because I was living in San Antonio at the time, and I just found it, convenient because I already knew the systems and tools, the teachers. I would go to the library, which was just down the street from where I lived. So I just chose that alma mater. To be honest with you, when I was in high school, it's the only school I applied to way back when. So I just have a special place in my heart for that school. But I do think that for my doctorate degree, I want to pursue, I have some different options in mind, but I am kind of on the fence as to which degree program. So I don't know, we'll see, but I just stuck with the same alma mater because I just kind of found it, I find it special, and it's local to Texas. I'm from here. I've always been from southern Texas, northern Mexico, even though for 20 years I lived outside of the U.S. in Monterrey, Mexico, and traveled throughout Latin America for work related purposes. So Yeah, and I've also studied internationally. I went to a couple of universities in Monterrey, Mexico too. But I found the studying in Spanish, 100% in Spanish, even though I am 100% bilingual, is also a challenge. So I might just be getting my doctorate maybe from a really fancy school in Mexico as well, just to challenge myself and do it in Spanish. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I think I get quirky sometimes.
That's cool though. You really bring up a great point though. What was that bilingual? What was that, non-American degree
Linear.
pathway? Yeah, what was that?
Traditional
why was it
progression.
harder in Spanish or at a Spanish speaking university? Was it more rigorous in your perspective, or was it just harder because you had been accustomed to learning in English?
I'd been accustomed to learning in English my whole life. But knowing Spanish and so in Latin America, and I will say this, you have to speak the language to be able to really work there, and you have to be able to write and all of that in Spanish or in Portuguese if you're working in Brazil. And I've always enjoyed learning about those countries, and Latin America, it's very special to me. My grandmother, for my mom's side, is from Mexico City. So I've always enjoyed learning about Latin America. But the bilingual experience is definitely, if you have the chance to work in a different country, I would definitely go for it. It will give you global exposure. I had students from the Netherlands come and work for our team in Mexico, and we would set that up with the university programs over there, and they would become business development, sales development representatives for us. So I find the multicultural experience outside of the U.S. as very interesting. I wish I could have had an experience in Asia. I think that would have been very interesting as far as like business wise. But yes, I mean, pursuing a career in another country is challenging, but it's definitely doable if you have the right support system locally as well. So.
No, I like it. I studied abroad personally in Shanghai.
Where?
Shanghai.
Oh, nice. I've always wanted to go.
Yes, that was a great experience. I do enjoy it. I mean, I means I speak a little bit of Chinese. I'm not particularly, I can pick up a word and put context clues together as to what might be being said. But overall, I completely advocate for it. Actually, let me ask the students a question real quick. If you could study abroad or work abroad in any country, what would that be? Post in the comments section. I'd love to learn. So Myriam, this has been a great workshop. I feel like we've covered a lot of interesting ground here. I think, I went on a little bit of a soapbox as to just where I think the future of work is. I really want to impress upon students right now. I do think we are entering into a very, very dynamic time period right now. And so being prepared for wherever the future takes us and just like being proactive, I think is really critical. But I really appreciate you sharing your insights, your suggestions with our students and recent graduates in terms of, how you determined your higher education path, how you determined additional degrees, really your transparency as to has it paid off yet? Not quite, but you envision that it will via these avenues. But I think that transparency, is great because I think, to your point, the go directly from your bachelor's to master's may not be the best move if you haven't gotten the actual real world career experiences yet. So I really loved what you had to say today, Myriam. Are there any ways that our students and or just the people in our program can connect with you? Are you okay with them connecting with you on LinkedIn?
Absolutely. I'm not sure if you have my information, or I'll include it somewhere in the video, but I have my LinkedIn profile. I have my website, Myriam H Muzquiz, just as you see it right there, .com. So if you feel like you want to reach out to me, I've done consulting work for folks as well, career conversations, or you just want to drop a line and hang out and talk about your project. I'm always down to connecting with people. So yes, it's been great talking to you today, Garrett. I am excited about what the future holds, especially for the curious thinkers out there, the ones that are going to innovate, the ones that are going to cause some fantastic disruption in the market, even though there are challenges in AI and whatever else is out there, that'll be so innovative. But I think that pursuing a further education is just, we're at the right time. And if you have the opportunity to do it, just go for it.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, students, thank you for being here. Myriam, thanks for being here. Have a wonderful rest of your day.